Dom, first of all, thank you so much for doing this. I think so many of us in this country right now are coming to grips with the fact that we need to learn more, we need to listen more, and conversations like the one you and I are about to have, they need to happen. And so I know I speak for a lot of people when I say that we really appreciate your willingness to have this discussion and to share your story. And I just want to start with first, what was your reaction when you first watched the video of George Floyd's murder?
I mean, to me, obviously, I felt sick in my stomach and, very just emotional, obviously saddened for the family, saddened for our community and our people. He just saddened that this is, happening in America. And, over the past couple of weeks, there's so many videos that are surfacing over America, whether it be, white, black, minorities. I mean, it's just about, just trying to change the system, in my opinion. And, you see, white people get killed by the police. You see, obviously, African Americans get killed, minorities. So, I mean, I've been seeing it happen to, my people for a long time. And, I'm just pretty happy, in my opinion, that we're finally getting, and people are taking notice and starting to see what we've been going through for hundreds of years.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think this particular video and this particular incident has sparked the type of reaction that it has?
Well, I mean, me personally, I feel like because of, the world being stopped right now, people have, just more time on their hands to really see what's going on in the world. And, a lot of people have been watching the news, especially during what's going on with Corona and stuff like that, just trying to, be safe with that and make sure that their families are safe and just trying to see what's going on with the world. And, I think because of this video leaking out, people are, starting to take notice of how many innocent lives are being taken just for no reason. And just so many, like I said, innocent people are getting killed. And I think because, this was captured on video, it hit home for a lot of people. And a lot of people, saw, how innocent people, bystanders, were trying to help the poor man. People are telling them like, hey, he's not breathing, he's not conscious, he hasn't been moved for several minutes. And, just to see that injustice from all people, I mean, just to see that injustice and see, people of all color try to help him, people have to take notice. They can't turn a cold shoulder to the situation.
Following the death of George Floyd, you put out a statement about the social injustice and the racism in this country and how it's impacted you personally during your life. You waited a little bit before posting that, though, and I know that that was a deliberate, intentional decision. Why did you decide to hold off for a little while before getting out there and talking about these issues?
Well, for me, I mean, like I said, I've grown up in South Central LA, close to Compton, and my grandma grew up and lives still, in the inner city, close to, Crenshaw High School where, Daryl Strawberry went. And so, I still go back to those places every year. And, it's just something that, like I said, I noticed after I got drafted and traveled the world and got to see the world and see, how other people grow up and live. And just, I saw how, growing up in the inner city, we just didn't have the same chance and the same opportunity. So, every year I made it a part, to go back and try to, help my community. And that's why, I started Baseball Generations with some of my buddies just so I could show face every year and just give, kids hope. And because Steve, it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair, the opportunity that we get and receive. So that's why I wanted to just do what I can, my part, to help change. This has been happening for so long. And, I mean, and this is why, it took me so long to post about it, because you know, it just means so much to me. And, you know, I just had to really, you know, get my words together because, like I said, I've been through it and I see it on an everyday basis. So it really means a lot to me that the world is taking notice.
Dom, you mentioned, you know, growing up where you did right outside of Compton. I know recently on Instagram you wrote that where you're from, a lot of kids don't make it to your age, to see the age of 25, and you posted some really sobering statistics. Why do you think that you were different? Why do you think you were able to do what you've been able to do and now be in the position to give back the way you have?
You know, in that same statement, I thank my support system, and it's my parents. You know, they really, you know, guided me and sheltered me through, you know, tough times, kept me in positive things, whether it be sports, and things like that. And they really were a big influence, impact in my life. And, you know, I didn't have much, but I had love. And my family, you know, they're the reason why I'm here. And the people around, my coaches, a lot of coaches took care of me. You know, I would travel around the world, and you know, a ton of great coaches, they looked after me. So, like I said, my support system is the reason why I'm here. And I see a lot of kids, you know, who are great kids, but don't have the same support system I have, and they just don't make it because of that reason. You know, so it's not their fault. It's not the kid's fault. You know, they you can't choose where you're born or who your parents are. You know, so when sometimes, you know, the outside world, society blames the kids or blames the parents, I mean, a lot of times, you know, the kids don't even have a chance when they're born. So, like I said, that's why I made it an obligation to start the company. I mean, I don't care if you want to be the next president, the next doctor, the next whatever. You know, I want to help you, you know, achieve that. So, I mean, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm trying to do what I do.
You said in your statement that as a black man in America, you encounter racism on every level. So many of us will never know what that's actually like to live through. So, from your perspective, how does something like that reveal itself to you on a relatively regular basis?
I mean, it's even funny. You can just go to, you know, having a regular day and just going to a nice restaurant and just, you know, being. It was funny. Me and JD, we went to eat in spring training this year, and we went to eat at a relatively close restaurant in PSL, and we sat there, ordered our food. You know, we waited. Nobody in the restaurant. Waited 30 minutes. No food. More people come in the restaurant now. Probably about 5, 6, 7 people come in. They order. Hour goes by now, Steve. Still no food. Other people who just came probably 15 minutes ago get their food. Hour and a half go by, Steve. Still no food. The restaurant's not even packed. They don't bring us water, don't bring us bread, anything. So I'm like, JD, like, do you see what's going on? And I mean, in my opinion, obviously people can be verbally, you know, racist, I feel, or show, you know, racism verbally as much as they did back in the day. But I feel like indirectly you can, you know, show some prejudice, in my opinion. And I don't understand how. I've been sitting here for hour 45 and I still haven't got my food. And people have been popping in and out for the last hour. And, you know, we waited for 2 hours, no food. I said, JD, come on, man, we have to leave. Like, I'm not waiting no longer. So we finally left. And I mean, they apologized on the way out, but in my opinion, I just felt like they didn't want us there. I mean, they were staring at us crazy since we, walked through the door. And I mean, that's one little aspect. Another aspect driving in Port St. Lucie in my, nice car. I'm driving down the street, and the street in PSL, you know how they have a lot of one-lane streets. So the street shifted off to a turning lane and a single-lane street. So as soon as it shifted off, I got in the left-hand turning lane. Somebody's honking at me, honk, honk, honk. I pulled up to the light. He pulled up next to me. I rolled down my window. He said, turn on your blinker. He was verbatim, word for word. He said, you probably stole that car, you nigger, to me. I mean, those two instances, I have instances with the police. I have instances playing travel ball. I have instances when I was 14, 12. I mean, it could go on and on. And I mean, I showed you, in my opinion, indirect racism and direct racism for me. So, I mean, those are just a couple of examples. Like I said, I mean, my brother's best friend is white, and he lived with us from 14 till he's, 30 years old now. So I'm not saying it's about white or black. No, I'm saying it's just about, people who are prejudiced and people who are racist. And I mean, people who are not, period, because some of my best friends are white, it doesn't matter to me. I treat people equal, wholehearted, and I just try to show love, in my opinion. So I don't understand why, the world and people can't do the same.
How do you stay within yourself when things like that happen? I know you've talked about how your parents taught you from a young age that you're going to be the target of racism and you have to handle it a certain way that, quite frankly, I can't imagine having to handle that way. So how do you stay within yourself and not completely lose it when you are completely justified and would be completely justified in doing so?
Yeah, I mean, like I said in my post, my parents prepped me for it, my mom, and, she just taught me, how to, beat people with kindness, beat people with love, So for me, it doesn't like infuriate me or piss me off so much. For me, a lot of times I'm more shocked than anything. And then I try to have a sense of humor, where I laugh it off. And, if I'm with people, then, I try to show them what I see. And it's funny because, when I'm with a lot of teammates and they're around me, they'll tell you like, yeah, I've been around Dom and this happened or that happened or this people did this. And I mean, it's funny how, people can be. And like I said, I'm not saying all people are like that. And that's why I don't judge people, by skin color or by certain people's actions. I give everybody their fair chance to, be good to me. I'm gonna be good to you. Once you burn me, then we can't be, friends anymore. But, besides that, I don't just go judging just by skin color, ethnicity, or any of that. I just try to treat everybody the same. But when I see it, like, for me, like I said, it's more shocking than anything. And then I just kind of laugh it off.
You play a game where black players are certainly in the minority. In your statement, you said that traveling the world playing the game I love for my career was by far the best thing that's ever happened. But it's also shown me how some people in this world really are. When you left LA for the first time and really started traveling the world playing baseball, what was your experience as a black player in the game of baseball?
It was eye-opening. When I got into pro ball, I actually saw how many black players they were. So it was pretty interesting. When we played some games, I played in the Happy League for a couple of weeks in Tennessee, and that league was it was a fun league. But I got a lot of attention, out there, and especially in visiting ballparks, a lot of boos and negative talk, and you got nappy hair and just stuff just out of line. And Sometimes it gets bad to the point where, you have to tell security, like, hey, like Keats, this is kind of scary. I'm 18 years old and people are yelling at me, screaming at me, little kids screaming at me, yelling at me. And I don't care about people booing or having funny chants, but, they call me Fat Albert and all type of stuff. So, I mean, it was just kind of, for me, because I felt like I was the only one getting taunted, like, I felt like it was a little bit, mean, but I guess it showed me and helped me build a little bit thicker skin. So I guess I could tune it out and tone it out a little bit better now.
Does something like that, do incidents like that um, add a certain extra layer of challenge to young Black players coming up through the minor leagues and ultimately trying to accomplish their goals? We all know what a gauntlet it is and how much of a grind it is to try and get to the major leagues. But did you feel like you personally had an extra layer mentally to deal with that other players simply didn't have?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I did, but I think I was pretty good at like channeling out like negative people, toning out negative people and negative energy, and just trying to like turn that into positivity. So I think like for me, like it wasn't able to affect me as much, but it definitely is challenging, being a minority trying to make it to the big leagues, especially when you feel like you have no friends or nobody to talk to or nobody to turn to.
Those of you who are out there who watch and listen to Dom, they know how close you are, Dom, with J.D. Davis, Michael Conforto, Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil, many others on your team, many of whom are white. Have you ever talked to them about these experiences, or do you plan on having any of these conversations now that some of this seems to be more out in the open in terms of people accepting that there are issues that need to be talked through?
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, they see it firsthand. When they're around me, when they go out, we go out to dinner, stuff like that. I mean, so a lot of times these guys, I play with them through the minor league. So, we go through some cities and they see it and they know. So, I think, we as a group, we don't see, skin color, complexion, anything like that. We treat each other with respect and I guess a brotherhood, especially. I mean, we're wearing orange and blue together. We're brothers, so we're going to battle with each other for 162 games. I mean, you gotta be able to trust each other. So I think that's the bond we built. And those guys are very understanding about the issues and struggle I go through. Pete Alonso reached out to me, as soon as everything is going on, and he's eager to really learn and understand and do his part on helping because he sees how it's not fair. Same thing, J.D. Davis, Mike, I mean, they see it, they understand what's going on, and they're always willing and open to help whatever they can do.
Some Black athletes recently have come out and they've shared personal experiences of being targeted by police. I know you mentioned a little bit earlier that you've experienced that before. You mentioned in your statement that you don't want to fear being stopped by a police officer. What experiences have you had throughout your life in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, all cops aren't bad cops. All police aren't bad police. All sheriffs aren't bad sheriffs. One of my best friends in high school, his dad is a sheriff. I know another one of my good friends, his dad is a cop. So, I mean, it's a lot of good and great police officers out there. I mean, I've been pulled over times and, I've, haven't even gotten a ticket, so I'm not saying, all, situations are awful when you encounter police, which isn't true. But you just encounter some who, try to just take advantage of their power, I should say, and because of their right, they feel like they have a badge so they can do it, You know, I've been snatched out of a car. I've been taken out of my car for no reason. And I've asked the officer, you know, why are you taking me from my car? Why are you searching my car? And then he said, I'm getting a little too loud and put me in handcuffs. And I said, why are you cuffing me? Like, I know my rights. And I mean, so, I mean, I just feel like, in my opinion, it's just about power and not having power. I want to, when I see an officer feel protected, you know, I don't want to feel like this might be my last moment. This might be my last breath. This might be my last day of life, you know? And um, like I said, I don't want to get into it too much because um, not all officers are bad. They're not. But the system needs to change, you know? In order to get a badge, you need to go through a more rigorous test, in my opinion. And that's what I have to say about that.
So Dom, you know, one of the things that just makes you a unique human being is that being around you and knowing you over these years, you can tell that you're someone who is constantly looking for the positive in things, the bright side of things. And I think that you're trying to use your voice during this time to do the same. You did that, you ended your statement in that way, saying, I believe in us, be the change. What to you is the most important thing that you want to accomplish personally by speaking out?
Well, I just want, I mean, the world to really be aware, and not only the world, you know, the Black community, the African American community, the minority community, you know, a lot of stuff we're going to have to learn on our own, and we're going to have to take advantages of, you know, technology and our own knowledge, and trying to uplift each other, trying to support each other's businesses. You know, it's so funny how, you know, growing up in inner city, you don't hear so many times if somebody in that city is doing something good, they don't want to go support it. They're like, no, F him. I don't want to see him doing good, which is pretty sad to hear because you see the Asian community spending the Asian community, the Mexican community spending the Mexican community, the Jewish community spending the Jewish community, the white community spending the white community. But we don't do that with each other, which is, I mean, it's something that we're going to have to start doing, in my opinion. But like I said, I'm just very happy that the world is taking notice. I just really hope for that when the world is opened back up in a couple months, that, you know, we're still pushing, you know, Black Lives Matter, because there's still going to be Black lives lost. And I still want to see the same support when the world is open and people are going back to their regular lives. So, I mean, that's my hope. Like I said, that's why I started Baseball Generation, because I started that in 2017. So that's something that, you know, I want to keep growing and keep building, and something that I want to help the kids to become successful at whatever it may be. It could be baseball, it could be life, anything in life, any career profession. I want to be able to help you, push you through college, make sure you get your education and degree, and be great. So I know it's a long process, but the fact that it's starting now, I mean, I couldn't be more happy. And like I said, I appreciate you guys for, you know, allowing me to talk and voice my opinion and just support me. So I really do appreciate it.
Well, Dom, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you sharing these stories. Again, being vulnerable and being honest. I think everybody who watched this, I know I learned something, a lot of things through this conversation, and hopefully these conversations can continue, will continue, and ultimately meaningful change will take place. But thank you so very much, Dom.
No, thank you, Steve. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I mean, it's a tough conversation to have, but I mean, the fact that we had it, that's one step forward. And, you know, I feel like we can change, and I do believe in us. And I see the reactions across the world. That's why I believe in us. That's why I believe, you know, we can change and help others. And like I said, it starts with us. You know, we can be a good person ourselves. I feel like, you know, we can affect so many other people across the world. So, I mean, that's why, you know, I believe in us, and I think we can change.